Here. Brenda Marshall, what about investing in crypto? The interesting thing, Brenda, about crypto right now is that crypto has been surprisingly connected to the overall market decline. What a lot of people thought falsely, they thought they were incorrect about this, is they thought that crypto was what they refer to as digital gold. And the thing about gold is that gold is supposed to protect you from things like inflation or it's a market crash, political geopolitical instability like what we have going on in the Ukraine, stuff like that. And it just kind of did none of that, right? Literally, crypto isn't doing any of that because crypto is just a crazy asset. Crypto is kind of the crazy cousin of the stock market, and it's totally unpredictable, and nobody knows exactly what it's going to do next because there's no real solid fundamental models to value crypto. So you could be heading into a crypto winter. They keep looking for price support at various levels. You may not get that. And so if you bought into Bitcoin late, then you may not get a good return on your investment. Now, if you bought it, say 3 years ago, and you were consistent about it, you've probably made so much money that what you're losing now is just money that you've made. So you're not in such a bad position. That's why I would argue that maybe you can think about like what is your 5 year strategy for investing? What is your 5 year plan? And then start executing the 5 year plan and then find something that you can do that's very consistent where you can just accumulate assets that you don't just sort of keep buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. That way you can kind of have something that's a little more smooth than people sort of trying to get in here at the last minute and stuff like that. Because a lot of people started to try to make all their money in the last year. That's hard to do because you're kind of getting to the party a little bit late. It doesn't mean remember this. Here's another thing I want you to remember. A lot of people will say things like, well, is it too late for me to start investing in the stock market because the prices have gone up? And have I got here too late? And in a way, the answer is like yes and no. I mean, yeah, you might get there late in the sense that when the market goes way, way up, there tends to always be a correction. There tends to always be a point where they say, whoa, wait a minute, Kimosabi, we got to slow down, back up. We're going too fast. It's not going to be good, right? And so that's when you have a pullback. You have a correction. That's what you're having right now is a correction because prices were way too high. But remember, after the correction's over, what happens historically is that the market goes right back to where it was and it keeps on going up. So a person with a 5 year plan, 9 times out of 10 is going to be in great shape. So a great 5 year plan that you could have implemented in 2017, which wasn't that long ago, is you could have said, okay, let me pick some quality assets and I'm going to just each week consistently invest in those assets every week. Every week I'm gonna buy me some Apple. Every week I'm gonna buy me some more Google. Every week I'm gonna buy me some more Bitcoin, whatever, right? And if you'd done that, you would have made so much money now that that if you looked at it over a 5 year horizon, you would have went from maybe being 400% up to 320% up, but you're still up, and you're up better than you would have been with almost any other type of investment. So remember, long-term planning, that's the goal. You want to think long-term. Isaiah, morning, Dr. Boyce. I'm using your strategy of automating investments. At the moment, I'm investing $1 a day into 3 different stocks: Microsoft, Apple, and BTI. Okay, would you continue as daily investments in these 3 companies, or put $3 daily into just one of those stocks? I think it's good. Diversification is always good, Isaiah. I like what you're doing. I think it's great. Just pick a good strategy that spread your money out and be consistent and don't go chasing a lot of meme stocks. The stocks you want to avoid right now, remember this: the stocks you do not want to own right now are meme stocks, um, SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies, or companies that are not making a profit yet. Right now, those companies that aren't making a profit are probably going to get roasted the hardest because when the market gets scared, they tend to fly toward quality and the money goes out of those risky companies because nobody wants to get killed like that. Um, let's see here. Isaiah, I would like to get into option trading for another stream of income, but I don't have the capital to buy a call or covered puts. What would you recommend to begin options trading? I would recommend starting, Isaiah, with the part that doesn't cost you any money, and that's just to simply learn. So maybe start, watching some videos about options and just understanding how it works. And remember with options, you do have a lot of ability to put a little spice on your portfolio, right? So you can get in on a stock without paying as much money, or you can reduce your risk on an investment that you have, or you could get some sort of cash regulate like cash flow from selling covered calls, that kind of thing. So options are worth learning. If anybody wants to take a look, I have an options masterclass I did. It's stockoptionsmasterclass.com, stockoptionsmasterclass.com. So feel free to go to stockoptionsmasterclass.com to take a look. Rain, should I form an LLC or small entity to invest and trade stocks, or should I go through my personal name? You could go through either one. I mean, I would talk to, a financial advisor, tax accountant kind of person to make sure it makes sense for you. But I can understand why you would do either one. The benefit of going through an entity is that you do get that limited liability protection. So you do have a separate company. That way, if people come after you legally, it's harder to get your resources, that kind of thing. Violet, I reside in Canada, and are there any stocks that you know of that are worth investing in Canada? I would probably aim for something that's maybe like a cannabis-based mutual fund. I feel like Canada and cannabis are kind of going hand in hand. I think there's a lot of good stuff happening there in that area. I would spread my money out, though. I wouldn't try to pick a winner. I would instead try to, get into a mutual fund that's going to allow you to avoid having to pick winners. Let's see here. By the way, if you have a question about a certain stock, you want me to look into it. If you ask it today, I probably won't know anything about that particular company. But if you want to, if you log in at theblackstockmarketprogram.com, theblackstockmarketprogram.com, there's a link right at the top where you can leave me a question, put the question in there. I will answer it for next week. I will research it, and I will give you my response. Violet, how do I prepare my kids for the financial world? I think you can do it in very little ways. First, you remember when we were talking about education. Education is underlined by a value system. I'll give you an example. I did terrible in school. I was a terrible student in high school. This gives you hope for your sons. If your sons aren't paying attention, just know I was that kid too. And the reason that I did bad in school was not because I couldn't do it. It was because I didn't understand the point. I didn't see the value of it. It's like, what good is this going to do me? Now, what I did understand was, why I wanted to be the fastest guy on the track team. I understood why I wanted to go work at Taco Bell, because I could have money, get a girlfriend or something or whatever, right? That's what I understood. Those were my values at the time. I did not see what education could really do for me. So if somebody had helped me understand at that age why education is beneficial to me and incentivized me in a certain way, it would have shaped my value system in a different way, to the point where at that point, once I valued education and understood why it was important, you didn't have to make me study anymore. I made myself study. I wanted to say people will put energy into the things that they value, period. So to answer your question, how do you get your kids ahead financially? How do you get them well trained? You got to start by shaping their value system. What you shape in their value system is probably more important than what you actually teach them. You can teach them all the most cutting edge financial theories on the planet, but if they don't value it, then it won't matter. So what you do maybe is, I knew a guy who was a 30-year-old millionaire who started a business when he was about 25. And I said, what made you want to become an entrepreneur? And he said, well, my dad used to tell me any black man who wants to be free needs to have his own business. And I said, okay, so was your father a business owner? He said, no, he worked for a company, but that's what he always used to say. He never showed him what to do. He never explained how to start a business or where to invest your money. He just said, this is free black men should be business owners. Shaped his value system. So what happened was that because his father played such an instrumental role in shaping his values, this shaped his choices in terms of where he wanted to apply his intellectual energy. So when he got to Ohio State, they said, well, what do you want to major in? He said, well, my daddy always said a free black man should have his own business. So I think I'll go study entrepreneurship. Right? Do you follow what I'm saying? So what I would say with your kids, don't just focus on what you teach them. Focus on the why. The why is what shapes your values. Like, not what you're learning, but why are you learning it? Why is it important for you as a black man or black woman to have your money right? Well, when I talk to my girls about money, it's like, yeah, I want you to have your money right, because I don't want some man kicking you around and making you think you got to stay because he's paying all the bills. Or why do you want to have your money right? Well, because I don't want you to be on the corporate plantation getting treated like a field slave, and disrespected and like a child where you got to ask permission to go to the bathroom. I want you to be free. I want you to be able to live your life, right? So start with the why, and then really, if you give them the why, you don't even really have to give them the what and the how. They're going to figure out the what and the how. right? Like when a kid decides that when their value system is shaped with like they want the latest iPhone. You ever see like broke kids from the hood who literally will go and do whatever it takes to get a pair of Jordans or a new iPhone or whatever, right? They'll bend the laws of gravity to get what they need to go get that iPhone, right? But then if you tell them to go get something else, they're like, I can't do it. I'm poor. I'm broke. I'm black. It's too hard. I ain't got no money. How am I? I'm poor. How am I supposed to be able to do that? But no, but you got a pair of Jordans on your feet. Well, that's because that's your value system. You have been trained to value having those sneakers or having that iPhone or looking fly every day, right? So ultimately, I encourage you to monitor or and to somehow try to influence the value systems. Give your kids the why, and then give them a little bit of the what and the how. And then what you'll find is that it'll be like running downhill. It'll be like swimming downstream. Like they're gonna go and do it even when you're not even telling them to do it. Do you think that Wendy's was a meme stock? Picola asked. I thought Wendy's was a little bit, but not anymore. Wendy's is not a bad company. Like Wendy's, but what I understand is a quality company. I wouldn't get mad at you for investing in Wendy's. I haven't done research on Wendy's, so if you have a question, if you want to ask me about it again, just log in at theblackstockmarketprogram.com, leave your question, and I will look it up, and I will tell you, I'll give you a more detailed assessment of my view on Wendy's. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and shut down for today. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I hope that this has been helpful and beneficial to you. And don't forget, we meet for class every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So log in at theblackstockmarketprogram.com. You can see the recordings of all the classes that we do if you can't make it. Also, you can get access to what Dr. Boyce is buying. I give you a ton of stock picks every single week. And on top of that, every question I answer from every student ever, I put all that in there. And also there's a ton of curricula in there for you and your family to learn. So feel free to log in at theblackstockmarketprogram.com. All right, guys, great seeing you. God bless you. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.